Hi, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I am really glad you're here, especially all those I can see in the comments. If you can hear me, I'm using the new computer for the first live stream. Would you please give me a thumbs up to let me know if you can hear me? I'm seeing some applause, but no thumbs up yet. I'll keep watching. Okay, while I'm watching for those, just a quick reminder, everybody. Oh, I see some thumbs up. Good. Okay. This live stream is obviously a live production, so it's not going to be studio perfect. If you're here for entertainment, you're welcome. If you're here just because you're interested in current events and different perspectives on it, also welcome. Curious, skeptical, still welcome. I just want to get an advisory. If you're here and your intention is negative, either to send negative energy to the live stream or those watching it, or just anything that is not light-filled, for the good. I want you to know that we collectively are taking all of that negative energy. Hopefully there's none, but if there is, we are taking it and sending it straight to source to be transmuted, purified, and used for good. So if you're here because of, like I said, anything from interest, skepticism, that's great. If your intentions are negative, you're also welcome, but you are helping to clean up this plane of existence by being here and giving us that negative energy because it's not getting used here. Okay, that may be a little bit of a woo start, but I just feel like it's good for people to know what we're doing with energy that they're throwing out into the universe. All right. Okay. Well, what I want to do today is start with something. I'm going to read part of an email I got from a viewer and fellow truther, and then do a read that she requested. Okay. So she wondered if I could do a read on this special day because today is Friday, May 5th, 2023. Now, 5/5 in military party, if you're into numerology, and I don't claim to be, just a smattering, okay? The date, May 5th, 2023, comes up to 17, which is, as you know, one of my favorite numbers. Okay, also today there's a full moon, and there's eclipse into Scorpio, and there's special energy that brings us, okay? Her mentor jokingly said that Scorpio, the eighth house, is about sex, death, and money. It's transformation. So we're coming into, and we know this, we're coming into a time of transformation. That's why this email really resonated with me. Okay. All right. So it also means taking off the old, putting on the new, and it's a softer, gentler time. Okay, she said she was also taught that when looking at dates, the year numbers are added together as one number. So that's how we got to the 17, 5/5, and then the 2023 made the 17. Okay. All right. So we want to know what's going on today. What is special about this date and this upcoming full moon, and then the days surrounding it with the eclipse. So are there insights and information the universe wants us to know? Now, I'm going to use for my first question, they're a little slippery, but they're really beautiful. I have a new deck that was sent to me. It was the first gift I got at the channel's post office box that was opened up last week. So thank you, Audrey W., for these cards very much. She contacted me, asked if there were any that I wanted, and I showed her a deck online that wasn't terribly, terribly expensive. It's not a collector's item or anything like that. I would never ask someone for something outrageous. And she sent them to me. So thank you very much, Audrey. So we're asking today, with the full moon and the eclipse coming up, and knowing that the eighth house is about transformation, what the universe wants us to know about this time in the celestial calendar and events happening on this timeline, and for those of us watching here, so here and now, trying to close loopholes and ask careful questions because the universe is very literal. It's very informative, but it's very literal. So let's see. Now, again, with a live stream, I haven't found a way to do a live stream and have multiple cameras going. So I will push my chair back a little bit and we'll look at the cards, but I'll try to stay close enough to the microphone that you can hear me. I love all these thumbs up, so I know people are hearing me better than in weeks past. That's fabulous. Okay. Pardon me, I'm on an old time straight chair. I don't use desk chairs. I like them, I just don't have one. Okay, let's make sure you can see me cut the cards. So what does the universe want us to know about this time in the celestial calendar? Our first card, we have the Knight of Pentacles, followed by the Knight of Wands. Then we have the Three of Pentacles. We have the Six of Cups. We have the Ten of Wands. We have the Ace of Pentacles. Looking good, guys. And then we have the Six of Swords. Okay, so we know I'm going to move that back. I was holding them up. I may just have to do that. Is that okay with everybody? That I just hold them up as I get them. And then just know if I do anything different than a Kachina knife spread, I will inform you and push it back. But Kachina knife spread, let's take a look at these cards. Okay, so the situation is looking really good, okay? There is some military activity going on in the background. It's very well thought out and stable. The Knight of Pentacles is a very good stability card. So we're in a time of some swiftly moving events that do on the QT involve our military, okay? Now, recent past card was the Three of Pentacles. There were no bad cards, none that were concerning in this. Okay, so we're being told that there are plans and agreements that are unfolding over these next few days that are going to be to the benefit of regular people. I say that because square in the middle in our center card for the present, we have the Six of Cups, which is a beautiful card that always talks about reconciliation and also love and taking care of, you know, our brothers and sisters in the world. And in the near future, we're coming to an ending of something significant. We have the Ten of Wands here. Let's see if we can get some hints about what that significance might be. Okay, we have the Ace of Pentacles showing up here, which again is a very reassuring card, a card of success. And aspecting that Ten of Wands as it does, I'm thinking that we may have some changes that involve some of our financial structures. Okay, we do know, I did read today that for the first time in history, despite what you're hearing in the mainstream, all of the United States regional banks are in the red, which is a good thing because we know our financial system, the fiat system, has to fail before the good one can roll out. We also know that the mainstream's trying to push this bad one on us, or the idea of it. Now, I don't buy that. I don't accept it. That's just not in my my consent form for the future in our world. And I say that again, we have nothing to worry about if there are financial changes, because on the other hand of this, we have the Six of Swords, which is always talking about protecting innocent life and moving into a place where from uncertainty and chaos into calmer, smoother waters and a better place to be. So over the next few days, we're going to be watching some military activity, or maybe not. We'll not see the results of it. But as we do, it's well thought out, it's planned, innocent life is being protected in the process. I know we have the coronation coming up, and I'll get to that with the next question. But again, that is kind of a government, definitely a government trustee. I'm not a monarchy fan, excuse me. And they've been dealt with. And I am so tired. I can't think of hardly one person that's in a high elected government position that is the original version. They're all being portrayed by actors, doubles, CGI, and clones, all of them, including the royals. Enough already. We know. We've been told we're watching a movie. I didn't realize that would mean that we were literally going to be watching everybody portrayed by actors. Oh, okay. Well, it's Laura's view. You just got one of them. Let's get a few more cards here. We got the Empress showing up. Divine feminine energy is going to be very strong in the next few days. We may have a significant happening that does involve a strong female energy. Now, understand, males can have female energy too. It's good if we do. We should all have some balance, okay, between our male and female energies. Although I do think whatever gender we most express is probably the one that's going to dominate. So, doesn't have to be a male that will do this, but whatever it does, and I tend to think it is going to be a female, we need to be watching for some strong female energy that's very loving and effective and useful in the world, making themselves known in the next few days. And the last one we have, Five of Wands, which is a card of there's some struggle going on, but it's temporary in nature. Okay. Again, we know this time is about transformation, and it's transformation for governments, for systems of control, for finances. So as things are in flux, we just need to understand that if we do, it's temporary in nature. Okay. So that's it for this read with the cards that my lovely viewer, Audrey W., sent to us. What I tried to do today was grab some questions that we didn't have a chance to get to previously. And then I'm seeing that they're showing up again this week, so it's good that I'm doing it that way. And I'm trying to use a different deck for each question, because while I do know how to reset the decks, it's a little easier if each one only has one job to do. I think they do their finest work that way. Okay, now our next question is coming from Josh. He's provided a question in the past that we read on. It was very interesting. He said that Syria's President Assad is now being welcomed back into the Saudi Arabia fold. And on a recent trip to Saudi Arabia, he was even shown walking down the streets, walking freely and safely. So Josh's question was that a staged situation, or is there really so much stability and peace within the borders of Saudi Arabia that was possible? So we want to know, was that it's good that visit has happened and those alliances are being reestablished and strengthened. That's fabulous. Okay. Syria doesn't need to be the ugly stepchild, and they probably never would have been if we hadn't had three-letter agency interference in their internal affairs for so many years. Again, Alora's view. Okay, but let's see. Is Saudi Arabia, was it really that safe for Assad, or was that a manufactured clip, similar to what we saw when Mr. B went to Ukraine? Okay. I do want you to see me cut the cards. That's a non-negotiable. Because you need to know that I see them when you see them. They're not previously arranged or set up. I don't mind holding them up after we cut them and show you what I got. But you're going to see me shuffle. You're going to see me cut. And you'll just have to live with that scooting chair noise, okay? Okay. Our first card, oops, I'm going to assume the whole deck is upside down, which tells you another thing. I haven't looked at it, because the first card was. If not, then it was a stuck energy card. I'll explain that as we go. Okay, we have the Six of Wands. It's looking pretty good for that stability. We have the Knight of Wands. We have the Two of Swords. We have the Three of Cups. We have the Eight of Wands. We have the Two of Cups. It's looking good for Saudi Arabia, Syria, and the Arabian Peninsula alliances. And then we have the Queen of Swords. Okay, so Josh, to answer your question about that while there was an element of getting the cameras ready, things like that, there was absolutely minimal staging. Saudi Arabia, at least for visiting President Assad, really was that safe that he could walk down the streets. It really was. Okay. Yeah. There were off camera, there were some presences, just making sure that it wasn't as staged as what we see with number 46. Okay. Not nearly. Well, nobody's going to be as staged as 46. Okay. So in the recent past, we had the two swords. So they wanted to do this meeting even sooner, but they had to wait until the time was right. Okay. Now, the current is a card of celebration. This isn't a card of product because we weren't asking about nefarious activities or anything that would remotely touch on those. So when you see the 3 of Cups, it's a card of modest celebration. Okay. So this is a good event that's being recognized and celebrated as such with our Saudi and Syrian brothers and sisters. And I know a couple of my viewers are in Syria, so love to you guys. I'm glad things are getting stable and working out for you. In the near future, they've got a lot of events that are going to happen, just like all of us. We're coming up to a very event-filled time. I think if you just feel your inner knowing, you're going to know that. We have the deep state cycling through their calamities and doomsday scenarios faster and faster and faster. Because, like all narcissists, when their gaslighting doesn't work, they ramp it up and ramp it up and ramp it up. And the deep state is classic narcissist. Okay. So we're going to have some big events coming up. Now, again, the alliance between Syria and Saudi Arabia is strong. They're on a good foothold. It's going to continue and continue and to the benefit of everybody there. Okay, that's read number 2 with deck number 2. And then the next question isn't going to involve tarot reads. Okay. But Gen Z K asked me to review the technique known as the sway test or the ask. Understand, I'm an enthusiastic amateur of that. I'm not going to put out a definitive teaching video. I will tell you how I've learned to do it and what works for me. Okay. And then if you want to see the first time I talked about it, it was the very end of the Katie Hobbs video several months ago. It was just an afterward type of thing because it had nothing to do with current events. So I tacked it on to the end of a current events video. Your body can be used as a dowsing tool and almost everybody's works. Okay. When you are, for example, shopping in a grocery store and you pick up an item and you want to know if it's good for you, the sway test can give you a yes or no on should I buy this or should I buy this? Is this good for me? Does my body need this? Those kind of questions. So what's going to happen is you're going to stand with your feet about shoulder width apart so you're stable, okay? And you're going to hold the item about at solar plexus. So it's not going to look unusual. It's going to look like you're reading the label, and you may be reading the label because your question may be, are the ingredients that are on this label really what's in this item? Is this item good for me? Should I buy this item because my body needs it? Okay, those are good questions. They're yes or no questions when you're using your body as a dowsing rod. Now, first of all, every once in a while, your body will give you a yes in a different way. So your first question to see which way yes is ask, like if I'm holding a bag of rice, okay? And I'm going to ask the question about it. It's my first question of the day. I'm going to make a statement internally that the answer is yes to that I know it is. For example, I live in Maine. And my body should kind of sway forward a little bit with that because that's a yes, and I'll know what my yes is then. Then I can go on and ask my yes question. You're probably going to go the opposite way. Almost everybody, and almost every time, it's a forward motion for the yes, but since it's not consistently and not across the board, universal, ask that question you know the answer to first. Something very, very simple, okay? I wear glasses. I'm going to sway yes. I live in Maine. I'm going to sway yes, something like that. Then go into your questions and ask your yes or no questions about that. It's that simple. Your body's not going to make a huge, although I had one question. I I went forward so fast. I mean, I got such a strong yes, it was incredible. Normally, it's gonna be a small motion, and that's why you can follow it up with another yes or no question if you're any doubt, okay? But that's how you do the sway test, okay? Stable stance, feet a little bit apart, hold the item if possible. You can ask a question without that, okay? But if you're holding an item like to consider to buy, hold it near your solar plexus and ask your question, okay? If you want to do this for current events question, I've been encouraging people to try this for current events. So if you're wondering, will this treaty get passed? Ask your higher self. Think about this. That's another thing I do is I just make it really clear I'm only getting information from my higher self. Now, some people would call the higher self subconscious. I think of it as a big part of myself that didn't come into this body, but is still very much attached to me, part of me. And as such, can look across barriers I can't see, uh, time, distance, things like that. So that's why I know my higher self. And that's why I don't channel when I read the tarot cards. I rely on my higher self to speak for, give me those insights unless they come straight from our loving creator. So use the ask on current events too. You may find you don't even need to watch my channel, and that's okay. I am trying to grow you guys to be self-seers, self-knowers, okay? And then tune into me just because you like my laugh or you want to see what's in the background or see if the kitties are active, that's fine too. But you can use that ask not just in the grocery store, you can use it for situations. And it's very effective. You can ask about current events. I do recommend one thing, no matter what you use, whether it's the sway test or a dowsing rod, tarot cards, angel decks, things like that, make sure you honor people's right to privacy. If they are not in the public eye willingly, they have a right to privacy. Okay. Now I've given up some of mine by making this channel, starting this channel, doing the tarot reads. I accept that. Okay. I don't really have any deep, dark secrets. I've got my life's an open book, although some of the early chapters I kind of sealed shut and don't want to go back to. And I've been very honest with people that I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. Okay. So I know that I've given up that right to privacy, but your children, your spouse may not have. Okay. So if you're curious about someone, no matter what divination tool you use, respect their privacy. Okay. I would never ask, for example, if one of my children was involved in a romance. I would never dive into the character or background of the person they're involved with. But I would be happy to ask the universe, how can I support my child through this, during this period of their life, or while they're in this relationship? What support do I need to provide? Okay, what should I know? Those kind of questions you can ask. They're really powerful and they're good. So again, just that little advisory. If you want to get reliable results, and we all have that intuitive gift, when we do things like honoring some boundaries and some right to privacy, that strengthens the gift. Okay. And when we don't, then the gift doesn't grow us. And I want all of us to be growing in our skills of discernment and manifestation and just as incredible human beings and that are growing towards a light. Okay, so like I said, that didn't have any element of tarot in it, but that is the sway test. It's that simple. Okay, hopefully you've got it now between this live or going back to that old Katie Hobbs towards the end of it and watching that. And then there are lots of good YouTube. The sway test, you can just do a simple search on YouTube and see some really, really incredible people help you hone that skill. So like I said, I'm an enthusiastic practitioner, an amateur. I shared it the way I was taught, but it is by no means a comprehensive how-to that I've just done. But I gave you enough that you can run with it. Okay. All right. Now, Wendy and let's see, I didn't put the person down here. Okay. We've had a couple people asking about the coronation this weekend. Is it really going to happen? Okay. Is it And is it if it does, is it a marker? And I thought that's a great kind of question to put to the universe. Absolutely. So now, again, little Laura's view here. I think I touched on it a while ago. All of our supposed monarch and royals are being played by version 2.0s. All of them. They've all been dealt with. Okay? In one way or another. Okay. And Big Ears, Mr. Sausage Fingers. He's definitely not the original model. Okay? So, within the context of the movie that we are having to endure on this plane of existence and in this timeline, is the coronation of Charles 2.0 going to proceed? If it does, is it a marker for other events that we should be aware of? Whoops, that wasn't a jump. That was a Laura Fumble Fingers. I'll be right back. But if it did jump, it's the caution optimism card of the Page of Wands. But I don't feel like it did. Okay. That one was a jump. Knight of Swords. White hats are on it. We want to know, is it going to proceed? And is it a marker? If so. And other insights and information the universe wants to include. We don't want to close the door for communication that the universe wants to give to us. Okay. Our first card is the World. Then we have the Star. We have the Seven of Swords. We have the Two of Swords. The Hermit. We've got 3 so far out of 1, 2, 3, 5 cards. They're major arcanas. 4, the Magician. And the Queen of Pentacles. Okay. So our situation was indicated, our question was indicated by the World. And this is a celebration card. Okay. Now, I don't think the world is celebrating the coronation. Even though the information is being suppressed, there are a lot of protests going on in the UK and strikes right now. And people saying, not my king, not my king. Okay. And they're offended, and rightly so, by the pageantry that's involved with the coronation when so many people are struggling to meet their basic daily needs. It's kind of an insult and slap in the face. And I agree with that completely. Okay. We do have the Star showing up here, though, clarifying this. So even if it proceeds, again, it's part of the movie. I'm getting a feeling that it is, it's going to be it's not a tower moment type of thing, but it is a pivotal moment. I think it's just going to play out. Again, it's a strategic, this is a card of a little bit of sneakiness, but also some strategy of getting away with what you can, okay, and realizing you can't have it all. All right. So I think the players involved with this really wanted this pomp and ceremony to be accepted, celebrated, and acknowledged as real. And they're realizing they're not getting away with nearly what they had hoped for on that. Okay. So they had to kind of compromise their expectations. This is the card that's in the present slot. And there's some waiting involved with this. Okay. Now, the reason for the waiting is there is events. We had the remember what the one that jumped out was the Knight of Wands, which was, or Knight of Swords, which was the white hat alliance card. And the Hermit is both a combination of divine and off-world energy. Okay, so there are events that are taking place and unfolding. This is part of them. I think we can kind of, I don't think we need to be watching that coronation. Like, I gotta say, when they had the supposed pomp and ceremony funeral for Lizzie. I was thinking it would be so great if any masks that were being worn or applied via CGI would drop during the funeral, and we could really see who was human, who wasn't, who's a blend. That would have been so fantastic. Now, I'd love to have it happen at the coronation, but I'm not getting any thoughts that it's going to. But magician is showing up, and the hermit was pointing his light at it. It's always good to look at who the hermit is pointing a light on, and he's shining his light on the magician, which is a card of manifestation. Now, we know they are trying to manifest this occasion as being one that we accept as genuine and accept all the players as real. And the more we don't feed into that, the less valid and the less success they're going to have with that effort. So use your powers of manifestation and consent to say, this coronation may proceed, but I'm not buying it and I'm not giving it any consent. And I know every major player in there is fake. And I'd love to have it manifest that becomes obvious even during that ceremony. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Okay, Queen of Pentacles, just letting us know that our efforts, if they are engaged in that, will have some fruitful results. Okay, so is it a marker? No, not like a tower moment or anything like that. I do get the impression the coronation will proceed. It's not going to be stopped by some big, I wish it would, world announcement and some true restoration happening, this plane of existence, but it's just another episode in this show we're happen to watch. Let's get a couple more cards and see if they have some information for us, okay? Right, we have Justice showing up. So our powers of manifestation actually may, I don't know if this is so much a just a confirmation of what I've been saying, that these royals have all been dealt with. They're all 2.0s, okay? Or if this might, depending on the energy we provide, be an avenue for some justice to start playing out in the public eye for us to see. Wouldn't that be great? I could love that. Okay, King of Swords. Okay, our Mr. T card. We know he's over there. All right. And no, I'm not going to do a read during the live stream about that. I want to do a separate video later today, if my voice holds out, about Mr. T. Okay, he had an interesting comment that I wanted to see if that tied in with his visit at all. And two final cards. We do have a tower moment, but it's the getting into the least impactful ones. Okay, so don't get too excited, folks. The tower moment's showing up, but it's in the it's showing up in the near future again, which is good. It's been showing up in my near future. Okay, so this tells me when we do have that tower moment, the UK is going to be involved with that too. But we know this tower moment, no matter where it tips off at, is going to involve our entire world. And when it does, we'll be very happy. Okay. So those 15-minute cities are going to be replaced with ones that have technology where you can teleport to your country of your destination and no carbon footprint to worry about or whatever. I'm just dreaming up the possibilities here. I don't know how fast. I think those things are possible. I don't know how fast they'll roll them out. If they take it at the same pace they've taken all these disclosures and world changes, I'm not going to see a whole lot of it. Unless I can get in a med bed and get my lifespan extended. Okay? Which I would do. I would do. They can clean up any damage that this big pharma's done and give me a little more time to teach and laugh and enjoy my family and enjoy my life. I would take it. I don't know about the rest of you. So now, someone asked some questions about my jewelry. Again, just a little quick aside here that's not going to be involving tarot reads. I wore the 3 pieces of jewelry that I should have anytime you see me, definitely 2 of them. And that is these gold bangles and this ring. So let me get into the explanation, which I did previously in a video, and I don't know which one, a long time ago. The little diamond in this ring, there's only one stone. It's a little diamond right there on the outside, was my grandmother's engagement ring, solitaire. Modest circumstances. My grandmother was born in 1899 in Halifax, Nova Scotia. She had an intuitive gift that I think has been to some degree passed on to me. My grandmother read tea leaves. She never claimed it was a parlor trick, but her daughters, trying to be modern, my mother and my aunt, both claimed it was nothing but parlor tricks. And they didn't encourage it. They were embarrassed when she would try to read tea leaves. She read my leaves once when I was very young, mine and my brother's. And I remember we were required to drink tea, and she wouldn't sweeten it up enough for me for my liking. And then she read the tea leaves. What she said, I don't know. Like I said, I was very young, probably 3 or 4. Well, she passed away before she could teach me how to read tea leaves. And really, like with a live stream here, if I was trying to do it here, gulping down what, five cups of tea to see what the dregs said, it wouldn't work too well. So tarot cards, tarot reading was one way that I could build on and access that intuition like my grandmother did with the tea leaves. Okay. Because it wasn't like there were 59 different patterns or characters that those tea leaves would do, but she knew which ones were talking about life, romance, the future, things like that. And the tarot cards were a way that I could tap into that kind of intuitive insight. And that's why I say over and over again, I'm not channeling. Okay. If Marilyn Monroe wants to get a message to us by way of my tarot cards, she's going to leave it at the front desk with my higher self. And my higher self will let me know. And I do that because I'm very careful about my personal energy. And I don't want anything getting attached to me that would be hard to get rid of. And sometimes very innocent energy isn't as innocent as you might think it is. So that's one of the ways that I stay protected is by having my administrative secretary be my higher self. Now the bangles, okay? This one I was made when I turned 63. It's a combination of the gold that was in my grandmother's original ring and a couple of broken necklaces and things like that, and some rings that had lost their setting over the years. And there is a jeweler, and he watches my videos. Hi, Corey. In Wasilla, Alaska, who melted all this gold together and made a bangle for me. I wanted one that didn't quite close, but could never be pulled off my arm without me knowing it. I didn't want to be a victim of a pickpocket. So it's very, very durable. It's never been off, but it could if it had to. And because it's not a closed bangle, when I've had anything to do with our supposed modern medicine, they haven't insisted I take it off because it doesn't close. It's not a complete circle, so it's okay. So like when I had my cataracts dealt with a few years ago, I was able to keep this on. Okay, then this one was made after my father passed away. And this is made from 2 pieces of jewelry that my father always wore. He had a wedding ring for his 30-some year happy marriage to my stepmother. And he had a large link bracelet. He had a large wrist that he wore. It was worn, but there was no way I could wear it. And since it had some wear and tear on it, with even taking a link out, the better solution was to have, again, Corey with LaForge Jewelry in Wasilla, Alaska. He took those 2 items and made this for me. Now, I didn't want it to be ostentatious, so it's not where you can see it easily. But the diamond my father had in his wedding ring is right here at the end of the bangle. So I didn't, if it had been here, it would have weakened the bracelet. I just wanted it incorporated into the piece. And so the end made sense here, not for display purposes, but for sentimental. So 2 sentimental pieces of jewelry that I always wear. And then the ring, I don't wear it 24/7, but I try to always have it on when I do a video. So that's the explanation about the jewelry you see on me. The other stuff comes and goes. I've got a few other rings and I always do custom jewelry necklaces. And if you're wondering about that, in 2007, I had 2 surgeries that removed my thyroid because I had thyroid cancer. And so those scars, when they were fresh, since I've got very fair skin, were very vivid. And it was really hard for me to walk around and have people staring at my scars all the time. So I started wearing necklaces and just kind of convinced myself. Well, first of all, the sassy pants part of me said, well, if you're going to be looking at my neck, I'll give you something decent to look at there too. And then I tried to just tell myself, they're not staring at the scars, Laura, they're just looking at the necklace. So that's why I usually have a necklace on. And they're usually not expensive. I have some that are, but my purpose here on the channel isn't to impress you with jewelry I might have, but just to be genuine and authentic. And so that means there's a mix of the very inexpensive and then the family treasures. All right, now back to the tarot and current events. Okay, Cheryl Ryder, and she's not the only one. She's wondering what's going on with these ultraviolet streetlights that are in cities right now. Now, you can do, if you haven't heard of that, you can do a quick Google search. I did several months ago. The explanation that's out from the mainstream about those ultraviolet, the purple overhead streetlights, is that those are all LED streetlights that they all seem to have a pretty similar source, and that the LED light is simply losing its white coating, and that's why they're purple. That's why cities are purple. And it, like so many explanations at the time, I thought, oh, okay, there's not a story here. There's not a story here. However, they've had sufficient time to replace those bulbs and get those streetlights back to bright white that it shouldn't still be going on. So I thought this might be a good thing to ask the cards about. Let's find out what the cards want us to know about those violet streetlights that are happening in urban areas. Okay, so our question is going to be for insights and information into the situation with those purplish type of streetlights. Okay, we may just simply get confirmation that that explanation is true, and that with the stodgy pace that bureaucracies have on making corrections and what have you, that's all there is to it. But is there more? What does the universe want us to know about those purplish streetlights that we're seeing in urban areas that aren't getting switched out very fast? Is there more to the equation? Okay, our first card is the Six of Pentacles, then the Eight of Swords, kind of looking like the bureaucratic shenanigans, the Hanged Man, but let's make sure. Then we have the Four of Pentacles. We have the Seven of Wands, Knight of Swords, and the Seven of Swords. Okay, intuitively what I'm getting from this, and I'll show you then the elements that are bolstering that, is that what's going on is someone's lining their pockets. They took some payoffs to just live with those purple bulbs and not change them out. So somebody lined their pockets with it, okay? And because of that, they're just kind of waiting for them to need natural course of their lifetime replacement, okay? It's causing us to view things in a whole new way. I love the universe. It's kind of a sense of humor here. Okay. Yeah, because of that purplish, glow, we're looking at things in a new way. But it all comes down to, like I said, graft and greed and laziness. So they've decided to just live with them. And maybe, like I said, took a payoff to live with them. Okay. And then as events unfold, they will be changed out and decent. But again, this final card here, getting away with what you can. Okay. So if you live in an area where those purple lights are an issue, it might be wise to ask some questions about why haven't they been changed? Weren't they under warranty? And who decided it was in their personal best interest not to change them out? I don't get any feeling that that light they give off is damaging or a problem. I'll get a couple more cards here. We'll see if there's some further insights into that. But it just looks like a human graft and greed type of thing. Okay, we have the world showing up. The devil. Now, those are two interesting ones to be side by side. The devil, again, kind of bolsters that thought that it was graft and greed because he's about temptation. Okay? All right. And side by side with the world, again, showing up in the near future. Just a reminder that as our world changes for the better, issues like this are going to be kind of non-issues. Okay? As we go through the changes that are upon us in this world. Okay, so that was it for the ultraviolet streetlights. I have one more question that I'll be getting into in this live stream that does involve tarot reads. I did set this live stream up to have live chat replay. So if there's something you would like to ask for, a question you'd like to ask, we'll try to catch it if we didn't get to it this week. If you have something that you would like some support on, a personal need, feel free to add those too. Okay, we have a large group of people here that read these comments, interact in them, and do a lot of positive healing work and prayer and intention for those that are here. So it truly has become a place of love and light. And I'm glad that we've managed to stay up on this platform. Okay. Yeah. If that ever changes, my videos go up on a site that rhymes with tumble. So far, I haven't been adding the live streams or the meditations, but the basic current events, one topic videos are going up there. If something ever happened, then I move over there completely, just so you know. And my videos are also auto synced to a place that almost sounds like a movie title. Okay, Space Odyssey. Did you ever see that movie? Take out the space and you'll know where I'm auto synced to. Okay, got to talk carefully on this platform, as we know. Okay, so someone wanted to know about the new variant called Arcturus. How did that name come about? Is there meaning that we need to know? Now, there's multiple layers to the word Arcturus. Okay, there's a big red star that's actually visible in the skies. It's the Bear Keeper. So we can see him in the sky near the Big Dipper, I think. Okay. Now, if you're a Trekkie, a Star Trek fan, they interacted with a race called the Arcturians. Okay, so there's several hooks to that. So we're going to ask the cards. I think this is the deck I haven't used. I'll shuffle it really well just to make sure. Okay, so we're going to ask the deck, is for insights and information about the naming of this variant that they're trying to tell us is the most deadly one yet. Yeah, right. Okay. So let's see what the universe wants us to know about this variant. Hopefully variant isn't a word that the AI sensors grab onto. I'll find out when I remember I'm on the site that thrives with humble. I'm not trying to live on the edge here. I'm really not. Okay. So insights and information about this new, I'll say iteration instead of the V word. Okay, it's supposed to be so grievously harmful. The name, how did they come up with it? What was their logic? Okay, our first card is the King of Wands. Then we have the Nine of Cups. They're happy with the name, I can tell you that already. We have the Seven of Wands, Strength, Knight of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, and the Five of Wands again. Okay. Intuitively, what I'm getting from that, I'm sorry if I've been talking without facing the camera. Hopefully, this mic's good enough that that hasn't been a problem. Okay. All right. So, what I'm getting at was they thought that they're really proud of this name that they came up for this iteration of the illness. Okay. They thought it was one that showed a lot of strength, that there would be subconscious tie ins from people just from pop culture, as well as those that maybe know more about astronomy. Okay. Now, they were determined to come up with a good name. If you know, a few months ago, I said that they were going to try to come up with they were going to rename monkeypox. I mean, that was on the CDC website. They were coming up with a new name for it. And I said that they wanted one that was intimidating or what have you, because they sure haven't gone forward. And then there was talk that it was politically based and they wanted a name that wasn't divisive. And I thought, chickenpox has been around longer than monkeypox. If you're so concerned about, that, and it's not nice to call someone a chicken or claim they're acting like a chicken. So why aren't they renaming it chickenpox? Okay. So they were hoping for a strong name that people would find intimidating and cause some anxiety. Okay. Like I said, they're really happy with it. Intuitively, what I'm getting here, though, is that it had more to do with, as you know, and are you aware, when we see those pictures of the round thing with the little appendages out of it, that's not based on any spectrum photography. That's just an artist's conception of what that looked like. So, I mean, people had it tattooed on their arms, and you see it in artwork everywhere. It's artwork. It's not based on any kind of real imagery, which has never been successfully isolated. You can't find a real photograph of that item. You won't find a real photograph of that item. Okay, so think about it. This Arcturus star is so big that billions of the planet Earth could fit inside it. It has a reddish hue, as that artwork often has a red base around it. It's huge. So they were hoping that we would buy that this is now a huge problem. Okay, that it's even bigger than the original problem. And people are so tired of that entire subject that no matter how huge they try to tell us it is, it's just not generating the fear, the anxiety, and the compliance that they had hoped for. Well done, humanity. Well done. Okay, well, that's it for this live stream. Those are the questions I had for today. And like I said, I've given you some time to put your questions here. We'll try to make note of them, get to some of those. And there are so many questions, guys, that you have about the universe. I can't touch on all of them. Please don't get your feelings hurt if I don't choose your question. Don't be surprised if your question involves a when, like you want a date. I'm probably not going to even attempt to get into that thing because the tarot cards aren't good about when, and the universe doesn't recognize time like we do. Okay, so if I don't get to your question, don't take it personally. If you practice the sway test or the ask, you might find that you can get some answers yourself instead of just typing them here. By all means, try, because it's going to build your powers of discernment, knowing, intuition, and just honoring that inner guide stone that we all have, that we've been told to ignore. It's irrelevant. It doesn't work. It's faulty. It's superstition. No, it's not. It's as much one of our senses, intuition and knowing, as hearing, sight, smell, and taste. We just haven't been told that it is a skill or a gift. that can be honed. Okay? And it can be. So good luck to all of you as you work on your skills of discernment and inner knowing and finding your own answers and using your body as a dowsing rod. By the way, if for some reason, due to health or infirmity, you cannot stand straight to do the sway test or ask, it is perfectly fine to do it sitting. Just sit with a stable position and maybe forward if that is something you can do so that your body can rock back or forth or side to side. You kind of get a baby this way usually. And with me, almost every time. In fact, I haven't had a time where this wasn't yes. But I know that it could happen, so I always start with a question I know the answer to first. So use your skills of discernment. Enjoy the energy with this full moon. If you've got crystals, set them out in the full moon if you can to get some charged with moonlight. If you can't, one of the things that I do that I've shared with people, it wasn't expensive. I went to a site that starts with E, and I bought a bag of selenite chips. Selenite, as I've said in past live streams and other videos, is a universal recharger for crystals that doesn't have to be charged itself. And I just sprinkle that in the bottom of the tray where I keep all those hearts that I pick from intuitively when I do a video. So I'll try to get my favorite crystals, especially my tower here, some moonlight tonight, but if I can't, the selenite will do just fine. So everybody, earlier this week, I closed my Tuesday videos telling everybody have a good weekend because my daughter had Wednesday off and we had plans. And so now I really can wish you a good weekend because I know if you're watching this while it's going live, it's Friday. Possibly if you're down in Australia or New Zealand, it's early Saturday, but it's definitely the weekend. So enjoy it. The pomp and circumstances and ceremony going on with the coronation. Watch if you want, don't worry about it, okay? It's all part of the movie. I've got better things to do with my time, and hopefully you do too, but if you don't feel bad about it, okay? And just one last final reminder, everybody. Fear is a useless emotion. And that's why all this talk about deadly this, horrible that, and conflict free, and everything else is designed to keep you anxious and fearful, and just don't play. We've had people look forward on the timeline that said that one of the most powerful things that humanity did was they stopped participating. Now, I'm not going to tell anybody what to stop participating in other than this. Don't participate in announcements that are designed to make you anxious and fearful. If there's other elements of modern life you choose not to participate in, that's your choice. I'm not going to get myself in trouble or my channel removed by going into those things myself. I'm just going to say, though, because to me, this is more important. Okay? Just say, I refuse to live a fear-filled life. I said those simple words when the anxiety about the lockdowns and stuff was at its height, and I was feeling it. And I just put my shoulders back and stood up straight and said, I refuse to live a fear-filled life. And the relief was instant. So hopefully you'll feel it too. Claim that power. Okay? Claim that power. And thank you for being here for this live stream as we went from current events to human dowsing to all sorts of to Laura's jewelry, all sorts of subjects. I thank you so much for letting me do these live streams occasionally where I can just follow some rabbit trails and do some different things. So thank you very much. And to my moderator, I think I had Tess here today. Tess, thank you. This was her first time as one of my moderators, Tess Castro. So if she interacted with you in the comments, be sure to blow her a kiss and tell her thank you. I think she's done a fabulous job. And again, good weekend, everybody. I'm going to wait about 10 more seconds and then I'll stop the live stream. So if you are telling Tess thank you or happy weekend, everybody, you'll have a chance to get those sentiments out. And if not, the live stream will be on my page and you can add comments below too once it ends. So thank you, everyone. Love and light.